Now, the UK economy, Tom, shrank in the third quarter, marking it the start of what is expected to be a protracted recession. GDP fell 0.2%, leaving Britain as the only G7 country that has yet to fully recover from the pandemic. Well, let's get straight to Bloomberg's Lizzy Burden, who joins us with the very latest. So, Lizzy, good morning. Can you break down the data for us? How ugly is it?
Well, it's a 0.2% contraction in the third quarter, which is smaller than was expected. But if you hone in on the month of September, it was worse than expected. And that's because, of course, we've had this backdrop of a cost of living crisis for many months, high inflation, high interest rates. But this was when we had the Queen's funeral, a bank holiday for that, and generally the weight of it on sentiment. We also had the Truss mini-budget. And so, as you say, it really marks the beginning of this protracted recession in the UK, the likes of which we haven't seen since the 1990s. And the depth of it is going to be partly determined by the fiscal event that we see on Thursday. How far does Jeremy Hunt go?
And parts of that have been dripping out to the media, leaks and some detail. What do we know about the plans for the Chancellor with that all-important fiscal statement and the OBR checking the homework?
Indeed, and some economists have been complaining about all the many leaks, including Simon French at Panmure Gordon. What we know is that Hunt and Sunak have a very difficult balancing act here because they've got to please both markets by making an attempt at balancing the books, but also voters. And the elephant in the room really is that they've got to bring down inflation, but that's going to require squeezing demand in the economy. So what we're expecting are some stealth tax rises. We're expecting this freeze on spending after the election, as you say, but also an easy way to save money would be to stop shovels going in the ground in terms of infrastructure projects. The question is, how will they be able to boost growth? Will they be able to boost it enough to make voters feel better by 2024?
So, Lizzy, overall, I mean, what is he trying to achieve with this, fiscal statement? Is it, I guess, placating the markets or funding stability, whilst at the same time supporting still the ones that have the least?
Both, and that's what's so difficult about it. I was also looking back to Rishi Sunak's May's lecture speech from February because I think that's the fullest picture of Rishi Sunak's economic vision. And he said then that you need to get in control of inflation before you bring around the tax cuts. But it was a focus on capital, on supply-side reforms, really. And so that's why I think you'll get mention of skills, R&D investment and business investment as kind of the three pillars of how they're going to grow the economy in the longer term.
OK, big fiscal event for the UK next week. Getting a preview there with Lizzy Burden.